Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, okay, it's on now. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming. So today we'll be talking about a topic here about Moodle. Yeah, everybody, not everybody, most people, many people um, are using Moodle in their organization. Okay, so my name is Achmad Mardiansyah, and then I'm from GLC Networks. In this webinar, we'll be talking about the prerequisite knowledge about Moodle itself, and then the most important thing I think is the Moodle tips from what we had here. Okay, so if you have um, other info, and then yeah, we are really welcome for that. Okay, introduction. So we are GLC, Garda Lintas Cakrawala, and we are based in Indonesia. We are doing training and IT consulting. We do Mikrotik, Ubiquiti Linux, and other stuff. Okay, my name is Achmad. I'm based in Bandung. I do teaching for living and also programming, and then uh, other stuff as well, like webinar. I have here LinkedIn. Okay, guys. So if you have LinkedIn, and then please please connect with me. Okay. So yeah, it is good. I mean, for me, it is good to have lots of friends uh, in in the world. Yeah, LinkedIn is one of them. Um, okay, so let's continue. Yeah, experience. We do mainly networking and then related stuff, including Linux, uh, in university, in ISP, in other organization in Indonesia, and then in overseas, in Malaysia, in Papua New Guinea, in Africa and Europe. About webinar itself, we start the webinar since 2010. So please, if you have a topic and then wants to share something with others, just let us know. Okay, please let me know, and then yeah, we will set up a schedule for you. Okay, and then yeah, that's all for me. And then from you guys, please say something in the group chat. Inform yourself where you are from. Okay, yeah. Usually there are people from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from yes, some people are from Australia, but very rare because right now it's very almost it's very late night in those places. So please, guys, introduce yourself. Okay, don't be shy. Okay, and then while waiting, we can continue. So prerequisite. This presentation is not for beginner. Well, we assume you already understand computer networking, Linux server administration, because in our installation, Moodle installation, we use Linux as a base as the platform of Moodle. Some PHP programming, and then database administration and developer. Okay, so review. So we know that we have a OC layer. Okay, each layer has its own functions, and then there is a process for an encapsulation where the data from upper layer will be added more by data or header, and then by time goes, the data becomes higher and higher, bigger and bigger, sorry. And then yeah, that's how the encapsulation works. And then one of them is the HTTP, right? So on layer 7 here we have HTTP, so that's the protocol we are using. Okay, and then yeah, so when we talk about web protocol, most likely we talk about the HTTP. So this is HTTP looks like. Okay, we have browser, and then we send request to web server, and then web server responds. Okay, the HTTP itself is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's a protocol for transfer the text, and then the text is not just ordinary text. It's a hypertext, so it's a text with additional marking on it. Okay, so if you have learned about word star long time ago, yeah, so that's how HTTP looks like. So you have a start tag and then end tag, and then when people is seeing that, and then that tag will become something. Yeah, so that's how the hypertext looks like. Okay, so if we talk about the component of the web, and then this will be the component. So we have a protocol, and then on that we have a DNS, we have UDP, okay, we have a TCP, a TLS, and IP address. Okay, so this is the lower layer. And then on top of that, for a programmer, we need to know the HTML, HCSS, API, and then the JavaScript. Okay, so this component will be generated if we are using dynamic programming. Dynamic website which generates this code, the HTML code, the CSS, JavaScript, and others. All right. Okay, so the application flow just like this. Okay, so you open your browser, type a URL, and then checking the DNS, what is the IP address. If we have a cache, and then we take it from cache. If there is no cache, and then we will do DNS lookup, and then we get this IP address, okay, from the ISP, blah blah blah, down to a browser, and then after that, after we know the IP address, sorry, we initiate TCP connection. Okay, TCP connection. Remember the three-way handshake over here. Oh, sorry. So we start from here. So client send sync ACK, and then to server, and then it's done. And then we send a request to the server. Okay, we get blah blah blah, and then server responds with this kinds of code, beginning with 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. What we are looking is error code now 200, which is okay, and then all code is transferred to our browser. Our browser is doing the parsing of those codes, and then we compile everything, and then your browser displays the page. As simple as that. Okay, now yeah, the component itself, if we open a website, it's not only coming from one website. So this is a web. So the component or the element is, when we say element of the website, is meaning it's element of each tag, and then each tag can come from one single web server and from other web server as well. From ads, there come from other website, from for example videos coming from other videos website. CSS sometimes also requires others. Okay, so the message itself, so we have a request. So this is the request, and then we have response. Okay, so what we are looking is this one, right? So when we see that, oh, we are very happy. Oh, it's 200. Yes, that's good. Okay, so we also know that the static and dynamic websites. So static, the content is very static. We cannot change it dynamically. Okay, but in dynamic website, the content of the web page can be generated on the fly, because behind that we are using a programming that can programming language that can generate the code. So this PHP can generate HTML code, JavaScript, or CSS code. Okay, and then those code usually is stored in a MySQL or database, not always MySQL. Okay, So from MySQL goes to PHP, and from PHP, and then we generate the code. Okay, so yeah, so this is how we handle the dynamic website, because Moodle is based on PHP, and PHP is a programming language that is used for Moodle. Yeah, so if you serve a static code or static element, so those elements will be stored directly in the web server. So this is you are sending a HTTP request received by web server, for example Apache or Nginx, and then if the request is request about a static stuff like image, a CSS file, a JavaScript file, most likely it's very lightweight request. We can just send the web server just send you the what you request. Okay, so this is the reply, and then we have HTTP response. It's very straightforward. But if you send something this requires processing, so the request will be received by web server, and then will be forwarded into application server, which is the PHP. So we have a PHP process in our server, and then that PHP processor will process the request, asking the database if it is required, and then it's always like that. And then the database reply, and then they compile everything here and there. And then after that, the application server response, the PHP response, received by the web server, and then the web server will forward the response to your browser. Okay. So yeah, when we talk about stack, so this is how the stack looks like. Okay, this is the internet over here. Okay, so that's the line. This is you. Okay, your browser, you send a request to a server. So this is a server. Inside the server, we have several stacks. We have software, for example, a web server or Apache. And then because this is a dynamic application, dynamic website, and then there will be processing after the request is received. So PHP is processing your request, send request to the database, take data from database, and database reply, and then back to the reply, back to the web server, and then send the response back to the client. As simple as that. Okay, so for web server itself, you can use, we have several options here. Yeah, Apache, Nginx, LightTPD, Cherokee, blah blah blah. So the full components, sometimes we use it LWDA, Linux. What is W? Linux web server, database, and application engine. This is the template. Yeah, so the W can be Apache or Nginx. Yeah. And then the database can be MySQL or Postgres, and then the application engine usually LAMP or PHP or other stuff like Python or others. Okay, so this is at least you know how it looks like building a web server together with the application server in it. Okay, let's talk about Moodle. So it's going to be a short webinar tonight. So Moodle is a web-based application. Okay, so you need to access the Moodle via what is it? Through a web browser. Yeah, so it's a web-based application. Yeah, I know there is an interface for what is it? For app. Yeah, so you can just download. So there is a Android app of Moodle, but this Android app will connect to your Moodle. Okay, so you have to give them your Moodle URL so that they can log in. Language is PHP. Database, it can support MySQL, Postgres. Okay, it's developed since 2000. Okay, it's free and open source. You can check their own code. Yeah. Also, the nice thing is it has many plugins. Okay, used by many education institutions, a lot of them. Okay, including my institution. Okay, is easy installation, easy, and also maintenance is easy. Okay, so that's the Moodle. Okay. Okay, I have chat here. Okay, welcome, Prima from Cilacap. Oh, okay, so Cilacap means from Indonesia. Prasong from Thailand. Okay, welcome. Sawadee Kap, sorry. Sawadika if I'm female, okay? I'm male, so that's why I have to say Sawadi Cup, okay? Uh, Afdal from Saga University, Japan. Oh, okay. Must be very late over there. Okay, welcome. Wow, Japan, man. Yeah, I remember there was a participant from Taiwan. That one is also must be very late over there. Dimas from Bekasi. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Wow, wow. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so let's go to talk about some tips. Yeah, while I'm speaking, there are some ideas about things that I need to add here for tips. Okay, let's talk one by one. I mean, for us, when I'm doing administrator for the Moodle. So for me, it is very easy to use source code from Git. Yeah, instead of you download, unzip, and then you upgrade. Better to do it directly via Git. So you just Git clone and then the Moodle URL, and then it's downloaded, and then after that um, you can fire up the Moodle. Okay. It's also easy for rollback. It's easier for upgrade. Yes, just git pull and then done. Even you can run a cron job for upgrade. For your information, usually there is an update weekly. It's stable version. Yes, it's stable version, but there is a new update every week. Yeah. So yeah, usually on Saturday. Yeah. They do the upgrade on Saturday, upload the new update on Saturday. So after that, you can just log in and then log in to the Moodle, and then you will see a notification that, oh, okay, there is a new version for Moodle. You can just click, 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 done. And also, very easy to switch version. Okay, so we have 3.4. And then there is a new branch 3.5, and then you can just add you can just change the mode via Git. You just change a Git branch -a, and then the new branch, and then off you go. Very easy. Yeah. So better use Git. Of course, the consequence is you have to understand Git. Yes. But it's yeah, I mean that's your investment. So Git is very, very useful for maintaining the source code, including maintaining Moodle. Okay. Also, yeah, be careful. Yeah, so this is the nice thing. Okay. If you use a standard plugin directly from Moodle, most likely you don't have any difficulties. Okay. Because yeah, the built-in modules from Moodle they're already compatible with the core modules of Moodles. Yeah, this is the different story if you have a very, very customized plugin from X company. Yeah, they really request, if you want to use this one, you have to use this version of Moodle. And after you upgrade, and then things break. So better if you do testing before you do upgrade. And for us, because most of the plugin are just a standard plugin in our place, so when we do the update, we don't have any issue. All right, so let's continue. Yeah, Moodle use tiered architecture. So this is a client, and then you access the server, and then you separate the business logic and then data. So here we have a server that contains the web server and application server. So that one is used for processing only. But the data is on different machine. You can use a virtual machine, or you can use dedicated machine. And then we found that one is really helpful for reducing the load. Also use threaded software because it can save lots of RAM. So Linux, you can have two options with Linux. Okay, either you can use process based, so every request has its own process, or you can use a thread based, so one process and then inside of it you have a sub process. We call it thread. Okay, so we have a process ID and then we have thread ID. Okay, so previously we had that bad experience when we use Moodle. We use Apache Prefork. Okay, so Apache itself has a long time ago. Apache only support Prefork, which is process based. So every process, every request will create a new process. And then inside the process, it's bundled with PHP. So that's why it's very RAM consuming. Well, it's faster, yes, but it's very RAM consuming. Okay, so that's why 2 gigahertz, 2 gigabyte RAM is not enough. Okay, if you have lots of users coming at the same time. Okay, so it's a completely different when we switch to npm event or worker. Other alternative, you can use Nginx because Nginx from beginning it's threaded based. Okay. Yeah, others is storage. This is also important. Okay, use faster hard disk, and then if possible, you can separate the database and the application disk. This is very important. Why? Because otherwise you will have a bottleneck. Okay, database has its own process. It requires to it needs to read the database as soon as possible, and the application as well. It needs to write log on file system. Yeah. Also make sure the space is available. Yeah, because yeah, we had an experience that people cannot log in. Why? Because the var directory already 100%. So we have to increase the space. Oh yeah, better if you use LVM. Okay, instead of fix partition. So if you use fixed partition, and then if it is already reached the maximum capacity, it's quite difficult to increase that. Okay, but if you use LVM, you can increase the size easily. Yeah, easily on the fly. Okay, and then next you can use external source to save space. Yeah, this is also good, also important. For example, actually, if you just put your data in the Moodle, like just small files, text files, or just code or an image, it won't take lots of space. But big files like video and others, and we also do backup every day, and that one really takes lots of space. So that's why, yeah, one of the strategies you can outsource those files. Okay, so when they click, the files is not safe in our Moodle, but in other place, like for example Google Drive or YouTube. Okay, So we just embed the YouTube link or embed the link, and then automatically people when we see it, when people see, it will not consume the bandwidth of the Moodle server. Yeah, they can just connect to the YouTube. See, as I said, when you open a website, not all components are coming from the same server. Okay, so we want to save our Moodle server, so that's why some of the elements is yeah, you can outsource it to other sources. Okay, next is about networking. Yes, as I said, because Moodle is web-based, and web-based means you need to have computer networking. Yeah. Usually we put the Moodle server in a data center, okay, where the data center has lots of capacity of bandwidth, okay. Normally we use Duren 3, okay. In Indonesia is one of famous data center, Duren 3. So we put our server there. It's got lots of yeah, data center. I think data center. Yeah, put your Moodle in the data center, okay, where all ISP are met, okay. In Indonesia, we have Duren 3 or what is it, Gedung Cyber, okay. Yeah, yeah. Why? Because yeah, they have plenty of bandwidth, and then they have very good support for electricity. Yeah, yeah, that's important. Because perhaps if we put the Moodle in our office, and then sometimes we have a blackout, that Moodle will be affected, yeah, for the whole university. That's not nice. People are screaming, and then blah blah blah, and then IT department will have bad impression for everybody. Okay. But yeah, that's because of the blackout. But the one that is blamed is the IT department. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you have enough bandwidth. Usually happens in the rush hour. Okay. When the submission deadline, oh, people are feeling very slow. Okay. Next is a cache. Yeah, cache is very important for speeding up Moodle. Yeah, so we recommend to install cache here. So this is my favorite one, the memcache. Yeah, and also Redis. Okay, so PHP has its own cache like APC, but yeah, I don't recommend it. So better if you use memcache. Memcache is very useful for Moodle. Okay, so in your processing node, processing server, better you install threaded server like Apache or Nginx, and after that PHP and this cache. Okay, next, yeah, if money is not a problem for you, yeah, so you can use cloud. You install the Moodle in the cloud, like you know, Google Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, what else cloud? What is it? Amazon, yeah. What else? Azure, yeah. Yeah, so you just fire up a VM, okay, with this amount of space, and then you just use their database so that you don't have to think why the database is slow. It's their business, okay. So the limit is your credit card. Yes. What else? Yeah, so this is an example of Moodle performance. So we had a quiz in 2017, yeah, several years ago. So at the time we had around 500, okay, so almost 500. This is after some user are left. So we have a quiz. So this is a quiz, okay, mid-exam. So 500 people. So your Moodle will be tested if for that kind of event like this, okay. So quiz in the Moodle is really one activity that requires lots of processing. Okay, lots of processing power, lots of RAMs, lots of database. Okay, but the bandwidth is not that much, so perhaps less than maybe 3 Mbps, 4 Mbps. Yeah, so the bandwidth requirements is low, but the processing power on the server side is high. But it will not exceed RAM for 4 gigabytes. No, less than that. So we use a container, and then yeah, we can deliver 500 user at the same time. Okay, so this is one example of Moodle performance. Yeah. So this is one example of high concurrent users. We can increase up to 1,000. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, your Moodle, as I said again, so your Moodle installation will be tested on the event like this. Okay, when they log in at the same time. Yeah. So it's not like, okay, you have, for example, we have 5,000 users in the Moodle. Okay, no problem. 10,000 users. Okay, but do they log in at the same time? No, it's not. So it's the number is meaningless. Okay. Yeah. So again, so you need to be careful when you execute Moodle for exam. For sorry, for quiz. Yeah, because the quiz requires lots of processing power on server. Okay. Yeah, for monitoring, well, it's standard monitoring, resources, log analysis, regular monitoring, storage, yes, storage, maintenance, a broken disk, replacement rate. But you guys, if you are using cloud, and then most likely you don't have to think about the maintenance. Yeah, about the hard disk is full. You can just increase. Database is slow. Okay, no problem. Just contact the the cloud provider. Okay, about the security, yeah, because as I said, Moodle itself has built-in security in their own application. So for that, yeah, I need to put Moodle here. Yeah, so we use layered security. So in the Moodle itself. So my handwriting is not good. So Moodle. So 2.0 Moodle. Okay. So at the Moodle itself, they have their own security system. On PHP, also we have a security like you disabled some functions. Open base dir. Okay, so this is also important, so that if your Moodle is hacked, they cannot access other directory. Also Linux security like permission, ownership, access control, and also if you're using CentOS, there is a SE Linux that you can use. Next is about the database. Make sure you have access control. So make sure the database can only be accessible from Moodle only. Networking, yeah. So you can apply IP blocking, okay, to block some IP address that is suspicious. Okay, any questions so far? Well, so I think we don't have a model here. So yeah, so that was the example yeah of the webinar. Yeah. If you are interested, please come to our training. Yeah, the schedule is available on website glcnetwork/schedule. Okay. End of slide. So thank you very much for your attention. This is now we have question and answer. If you have questions, and then please say something in the group chat. Yeah, we have a feedback loop, feedback form here. So please say something to make our webinar better. Also, if you have any suggestion for topics, a schedule also will be available on Facebook. Slides will be available on Slideshare. Recording will be available on YouTube. Okay, any questions so far? Have you ever experienced about cloud pricing when we use Moodle? Oh, okay. So, for the database, usually we pay around 60 USD per month, and for the VM, the number is about the same, maybe higher. Yeah, maybe higher, around 100 something USD. That depends on your specification. Oh, higher, yes, it's higher. Yeah, yeah, that was yeah. So usually we increase the spec of Moodle when we close the exam. We increase the total number of CPU, RAM, and etc. etc. Oh, if you use cloud, yes, I know there is an option for a shared CPU. Well, better not to use them because you have to share with others. So it means that for higher load, the performance will be lower. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully that answered the questions. So around maybe 200, 200 or 300 USD per month for Moodle. Any other questions? Okay, we are Q&A now. Anyone have experience Moodle or install Moodle in their institution? Yes. Oh, okay. So somebody said to me, yeah, okay, in Moodle installation, but you don't know anything about Linux. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So as I said, yeah, Moodle is just an application layer. It's just one bit of one aspect of the whole system. Okay. So before Moodle, you have PHP, you have Linux, and then you have database. So for that one, you need to understand how to use them. If you use cloud, and then you have less things to be aware of. Because for the database, you don't have to think about that. So the database itself, there is a tuning of how you use, how you improve the database, right? Yeah, for example, if you use MySQL, and then there is a tuning for MySQL that you have to change this and there. Okay. For database, for Postgres, and then there is also tuning. Show example of memcache configuration if you can. Well, memcache configurations, we use a standard memcache for PHP, and then it works okay. So for yeah, this one here. So perhaps maybe not many, or some Moodle administration, they don't know about the cache here. So after you add memcache, it doesn't mean that the memcache is used automatically for all application of Moodle. So there are several application, sub-application of Moodle that will requires memcache. So when you see cache administration, okay, and then you have to configure the application here so that it can use memcache. Okay. So hopefully that answered questions. Yeah, okay. Let me check. Uh, okay, perhaps I can share here. Oops. Okay, so I need to move this one. Okay, so that it can be displayed. Okay, so this is, for example, the model. So as you can see, yeah, this is the example of Moodle, and then it's cache, right? So as you can see, here's the storage mapping. So this application, okay, will use memcache, Redis, and APC. Okay, so yeah, that's how you configure the cache for every application. You can use other engine, cache engine as well. So here you can use mapping. Okay. Well, so I think that's all. Any questions? So where is the PDF? Oops. Okay, guys, so I think that's all. Yeah, if no questions, then I think it is time to do photo session. Okay, please turn on your camera, right? And then yeah, for those who are running Moodle on their institution, yeah, so hopefully this tips can help you to improve your Moodle installation. Right, so okay, I'll count 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Also thumbs up. Oh, okay, that's important. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Yeah, I really appreciate your coming here. Oh, I need to stop the share. All right. Okay, so I think that's all. Thank you very much for coming. See you in the next webinar. And then hopefully, yeah, we will meet in the next webinar. Yeah. Good evening and have a nice day.